I married Hina when we were both 27. We met at a corporate seminar, fell in love quickly, and within a year, we tied the knot. I trusted her with everything I had, my time, my dreams, my money, and my heart. Over the years, I worked tirelessly to give us the life we both dreamed of, a beautiful home, a comfortable lifestyle, and security for the future. I thought we had it all, but little did I know, I was just a pawn in a game she was playing behind my back. It started with subtle changes. Hina became distant, always glued to her phone, and suddenly started staying late at work. When I'd ask, she would roll her eyes and accuse me of being insecure. "It's just work, Arslan. Grow up." I wanted to believe her, but deep down, something didn't sit right. I ignored the signs for months, convincing myself she was just stressed and needed space. But then something happened that forced me to confront the truth. One evening, her phone lit up while she was in the shower. I normally never touched her things, but this time, my gut screamed at me to look. The message preview read, "Last night was amazing, can't wait for round 2. My heart dropped. I opened the phone, hands trembling, and there it was. Hundreds of messages exchanged between Hina and her coworker, Nabil, discussing secret hotel meetups, intimate details, and mocking me for being too busy working to notice. I sat there, numb, reading every vile message until I couldn't feel my fingers anymore. At that moment, something inside me broke, but I didn't confront her. Not yet. I wasn't going to scream, cry, or beg. I was going to make sure she paid for every single lie, every ounce of humiliation, and every moment she stole from me. The next morning, I contacted a private investigator. Within 3 days, I had everything I needed. Photos of them entering hotels, call records, and even a recorded conversation of Hina, bragging to her colleagues about how Nabil was better than her husband in every way. That one line hit me like a knife, but I stayed silent, quietly planning her downfall. Step 1 was her workplace. I knew they both worked for a reputable consulting firm that had strict policies against workplace affairs, especially involving clients, which Hina and Nabil had been doing. I gathered every piece of evidence, carefully documented timelines, and sent an anonymous email to HR with attachments proving their misconduct. 3 days later, chaos erupted. Hina called me in the middle of the day, her voice trembling. "Arslan!" Something happened at work. Someone sent HR everything. They confronted me in front of my manager, and Nabil and I are under investigation. I might get fired. I pretended to be shocked and sympathetic, murmuring comforting words, hiding the smile tugging at my lips. But I wasn't done. Step 2 was the DNA test. I'd been suspicious about our 3-year-old son Daniel for a while. His birth didn't align with the timeline of her business trips, and little things never added up. I secretly took Daniel's toothbrush and mine to a private lab. When the results came back, I nearly dropped the envelope. 0% T. Probability. Daniel wasn't mine. My blood boiled, but instead of confronting her right away, I decided to weaponize the results for maximum impact. Step 3 was the door. While Hina was at work one Friday, I took the day off and called a painter. On the front door of our house, in bold red letters, I had him paint. Cheater's house, DNA results inside. I left the envelope taped to the door, prominently displayed where the entire neighborhood could see. That evening, I waited, in my car down the street, watching as she pulled into the driveway. At first, she froze, staring at the painted words. Then she ripped the envelope off the door and opened it. I could see her legs buckle as she read the DNA results, her face going pale. She stumbled inside, calling me frantically, screaming and crying. I ignored every call. 10 minutes later, Nabil showed up, parking recklessly in front of the house. Neighbors gathered, whispering and pointing, recording everything on their phones. I had made sure the entire community would witness her humiliation. Inside, she must have realized what I'd done because she called me, sobbing, "How could you do this to me? Everyone's gonna know. Please, let's talk." I calmly texted back, "You should have thought about that before lying to me, cheating on me, and making me raise another man's child. 2 days later, Hina was officially suspended from work. Nabil was fired on the spot because of the client conflict violations I'd exposed. His wife, who I had also anonymously sent the DNA results to, kicked him out and filed for divorce immediately. As for Hina, her parents showed up at my door, furious, demanding an explanation. I handed them the evidence and closed the door in, their faces without saying a word. I filed for divorce that same week. With the DNA results, the financial records, and the affair evidence, my lawyer secured everything in my favor: the house, the car, and nearly 80% of our shared savings. Hina left with nothing but her clothes and a destroyed reputation. Weeks later, I found out she moved into a small rented apartment on the other side of town. Word spread quickly in our circle. Friends distanced themselves, colleagues mocked her behind her back, and neighbors avoided her entirely. The last time I saw her was outside a grocery store. She looked like a shell of the woman I once knew, with hollow eyes and a trembling voice. She tried to speak, but I walked past her without saying a word. As for Daniel, I arranged custody paperwork so his biological father would take responsibility. It wasn't the child's fault, but I refused to raise a living reminder of her betrayal. Nabil fought for him, and I signed the papers without hesitation. It's been a year since that day. I've rebuilt my life from the ground up. I've surrounded myself with people who value loyalty, honesty, and respect. I'm stronger, wiser, and more successful than ever. Hina, on the other hand, is still unemployed, living in isolation, and paying the price of her choices every single day. Every time she drives past our old house and sees that freshly repainted door, I hope she remembers the day her world fell apart, the day her lies caught up with her, the day I showed her that betrayal doesn't end quietly.